Hello again this morning. Yeah, it's still morning. I just wanted to show you I made another um, prompt along fabric collage something or other. And so this is the one I made last night when we were doing the live stream. And then I did another one this morning. Doing it on the live stream, I have to be a little bit more rushed because I don't want to keep you all like all night. And I don't have a place for y'all to sleep, so I got to be quicker. And so, but now this morning I took my time and I even took a little bit break. But as you can see, it still kind of comes out the same. But I just wanted to show you, I used all these prompts right here. And so I started with this little image of a bear. I had that on a fabric, so I put that right in the middle. I always start with something right in the middle, and then or on there, just in case I first pull a button or something, then I have something to put it on. Okay, so I after I had the bear, then my first prompt was to add a hexagon, which that was this piece right here. That was a hexagon. I put that there. And then it was lace edging, so I put that piece right there. And then it was a zigzag stitch. Oh, so that's when I went around the bear with a zigzag stitch on the sewing machine. I went actually all the way around it, but you can't really see because I cover it up. And then I had add a flower. Oh, so what I did was I added this piece. It was a piece of fabric with a flower on it. So I added that. The next one was add a bead. Well, I added a bead, but then it got covered up, so I had to re-add a bead later. So there's my bead right there on top of that tulle. And then something coffee stained. I don't have anything coffee stained, so I had to pass that one up. I need to coffee stain some fabric, so I'll have that ready, but I didn't have that, and I shouldn't really have that in my stack until I have coffee stain. Oh, maybe I'll just go coffee stain something when I'm done here. Then I pulled the card that had denim. Well, I didn't have a denim in my I've got to find some denim and put it in my little, because I do have some, it's just not in my scrap collection I have right here. But so what I did was I took this piece of fabric right here, and I because it looked close enough to denim, so I put that right there. And then my next one was something tiny. So something tiny was this little charm here. I have a little charm of a bicycle, so I put that in my bunny's hand, so he's holding the little charm. And the next one was add tulle. So I just took this piece of tulle and I put that on there, just stitched it in the middle, and it's just kind of fluffy there. And that is one thing that will be good for a fidget quilt, a fidget mat, is the tulle even on there, put on that way. Or you could cover the whole thing in tulle if you wanted to. There's so much you could do with tulle, but I just made something kind of fluffy this time. And then something vintage. That was the vintage was this little piece of a doily. And that one I stitched that one all by hand. And so that took a little bit longer to get that on there by stitching it by hand. If I was on the video, I would have probably done it by the machine, but I just did that one by hand. Because you can take your time, And then red scrap. I got this red right here. And then applique an animal. Well, then that came to this little piece of fabric with those baby chicks on there. And applique in it is just zigzag all the way around it. Raw edge, it's applique cool enough. The next one was my initial. So right there I have L. That's for Lizzie. Lazy Lizzie. Roll the dice. Okay, roll the dice, and I got a 4. I said to do 4 pieces. So what I did was I found 4 pieces out of my scrap box, and I sewed them together on the sewing machine before I actually put them on here. So I took that 4 pieces, sewed them together, and then added the whole piece right onto the square. Something that was given to you. Oh, again, I went with my star here. That was given to me. That was by Cordula. And then needle and thread. Needle and thread. Which one did I do then? Okay, needle and thread. That's when I took the embroidery floss, and I just made some them bumps. Now I can't think of what they're called. Darn it, my memory. But I made those little spots with the needle and the embroidery floss. That was the needle and thread. Embroidery floss or thread. Okay, then, see, I pulled that one right after I did this, then I pulled this one. So here in the middle of my French knots, that's what they're called. Right in the middle of my flower, I add some French knots in the middle of that flower. And then an ugly scrap. Well, I have a hard time finding ugly because everything I think is pretty nice. But so I picked this one here. I thought, well, some people might think that's ugly, but it's not really ugly. I just put it there as an ugly scrap. Okay, and then the next one was a purple scrap. Well, I went again with the same thing here. I put the purple scrap on it, but then I used a lot of my fancy stitches on the sewing machine to stitch it on. And that makes that purple scrap really pretty. The next one was add a word. So I have the word inspire here. Now put that on with a fancy stitch too. I'm going to have to make myself some more words, so I have plenty of words. Use pinking shears. So on that, I took this little piece of fabric here, and I just, it was that shape already, so I just took the pinking shears and went around it, and then stitched it on with my chicken scratch stitch. I always call that one chicken scratch. I don't know what it's called. And then sew on a button. So that's where I put on this little button, this little green button. It lives right there now. The next one was add a yo-yo, and there's my yo-yo, and I just stitched that on with one cross stitch. And then I had a bow. So I put a bow right here. I have some bows that are already tied, and so I put one right there. And then the last one was add rickrack. And so, where's my rickrack? Oh, right here. I just went along with a piece of rickrack. And there it is. I could still keep going if I wanted to, but I thought, well, that's enough on there for now. And so now what's going to happen is I'm going to take this one that I did last night, and I'm going to fold that. Just put that upside down over this one that I just did this morning, and I'm going to stitch all the way around, put it together so that one will be on one side, one will be the other, and then I'm going to sew that on for the next page. And so as you can see, like you can like here, this one was add denim, but I didn't have a piece of denim, so I just put a piece of fabric that was sort of like denim, and I put that on. And so, and the flower, I used the flower that was on the, now sometimes like on this one, it said add a flower, and I added this crocheted flower. But this one, I had add a flower, and I just added the fabric that had a flower on it. So you can really use your own imagination as you're going, and you can take the prompt as just an idea, and then you can and so I do encourage all of you to just write down and come up with your own too. And I'm always looking for ideas of more different things on to put on the prompt cards, because this goes pretty quickly when you're oh, what was this one? That was yesterday. Okay. Yeah, that was yesterday. Okay. But anyway, that's going to be really pretty. I think that's going to make a real pretty page. And it's just, I like the little fiddly things, the things that are fiddly. And today I should get my zippers in the mail. And so I'll have, because one of these says to add a zipper, and I'll use a whole zipper instead of just a piece of one. And so you can zip it and unzip it. And I want to put something inside the zipper. So when you unzip it, maybe there'll be a piece of rickrack in there, or maybe I'll put just a strip with a quote or something inside. That'll be fun. But now what I decided too that I'm going to do, like because I use just white felt, not felt, but white flannel as the base. But the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to use, again, flannel, but I'm going to use this one with color in it. And so then if I have spaces that aren't covered up, actually I wouldn't even have to put a center in one here, because if I first add a bow, I can add a bow anywhere, and it's already these images, which all these images will be covered up. But I might want to leave one or two of these little snowmen uncovered, so it'll be a little bit different instead of having the whole thing covered up. But so I'm going to go ahead when I put this one, I'll have underneath this video will be another list of all of my prompts. So if you all want to copy them and do them on your own, then I just find it to be fun. It's just fun to pick a prompt, and then you might pick a prompt and like you might pick a prompt that is a roll the dice and for the amount of pieces, and you might not have space enough. So then you'll have to pass that one and go to the next one. And so you can do that too. And like on this one, I think I had a roll the dice, and I had 4. I had to come up with 4 pieces. Oh, and I did. I had 1, 2, 3, 4. And I put them up kind of separate. But then on this one, I had 4. But I had 4 here, and I put those 4 together on the sewing machine, and then put them onto the scrap, onto the 12 by 12 base piece that I started with. But I'm finding this to be a lot of fun, and rather than think about what will I do next, you just pull a card and then do that. It's like a lot of people do a prompt along in paper arts, and it's kind of the same thing, although you're using fabric and textiles and things that can be sewn onto fabric. And I think, and you could take all of these later on, you could make a pretty fancy quilt sewing all them together. But first I'm going to make a couple of throw couch pillows that are going to have the many pages. And like I said, at the end of my putting them together, oh, where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? I got it here. Oh, here it is. See, if you didn't see before, this is where I got my book started. It's got 3 pages, 6 if you count both sides. But here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. So when I get these other 2 now sewn together, I'm going to stitch them on. And I just stitch them on by hand and just add them to the spine here. And so when this is finished, when I think it's thick enough to be a pillow, then I'm going to put a button, button, button. So it'll be 3 buttons. And then on the back cover, I'm going to put those little hair bows you can get for little girls. They're small and they're colorful. And I'm going to put 3 of them to coordinate with the buttons, to line up with the buttons. 1, 2, 3. And then you can take that hair tie and bring it around and bring all 3 around to tie. Or you could even put a ribbon on the front and on the back and then tie it in a bow. Either way, just to hold anything just that holds it together, and then that will be nice. But just to flip through this book and you just have little things to, oh, I didn't write it down yet, but somebody last night suggested a pocket. Like if you make a little pocket and just add that somewhere. So if you had a little pocket, and then you had a like a piece of a shoelace or something stitched on there, and something on the end of the shoelace that you could tuck in the pocket, that would be fun too for a fidget book. And so I'm going to need to write that on a card now while I'm thinking about it so I won't forget. So I just wanted to show you that. And thank you all who came last night to the live stream where we did one together, and I'm going to do another one next Sunday. I'm going to try and do one each Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, that we can work together. We can work together, or we can just watch and get ideas together and share ideas. I had quite a few ladies last night. Hopefully I'll see, as long as it keeps going well and I have an interest, then I will continue to do it. And then I encourage you too, if you do make one of these, and take a picture of it for me and put it in the Scrap and Lizzie unicorn page so I can see what your pages are looking like. These are 12 by 12, but you can choose your own size. You can choose your own size. Whatever you choose, you can use your own size. And so, but see, the more I put together, the thicker this is going to get. And because I sew them together this way, front side to front side, and then just sew around, well, you got to leave an opening to turn it, and then you just hand stitch that. And then that makes a nice page. Then you don't have to put a binding on it because it's already bound together when you stitched it together. So anyhow, I just wanted to do that and show you a little show and tell what I did this morning. And I got to add that pocket. I got to add that on my card to add a pocket. But I'll have under this video too, I'll have the whole list. You can just copy and paste it, or however you do to make your to copy, and then you'll have your list. Okay, I'm going to put add a pocket. So that will be on there too. And then I wonder if I should, well, actually I won't put, because you might decide to put anything in a pocket, because I might pull a card that says add a button, and you might add a button to the end of a shoestring or something to be able to tuck into the pocket. So that's going to be a fun one too, especially for a fidget pillow. And so I'm going to love these. I'm having fun with it. Actually, this one here is almost like a pocket because I didn't stitch that. But there's so much you can do with it. And I look forward to ideas too that y'all can put up for more ideas